arrests and new debate as the investigation into the January 6th Capitol Hill riot heats up. We're joined by NBC News correspondent for investigations, Tom Winter, and NBC News national security correspondent, Ken Dilanian. Good morning to both of you. So, Tom, let's start with where the investigation currently stands, and can you give us an update on those facing federal charges in connection with the riot?
Well, Joe, as you can imagine, the cases continue to come in over the course of the weekend and obviously Friday night, as well as we approach now over 140 people arrested and charged federally in connection with what happened on January 6th at the Capitol. One of those people includes Garrett Miller, 34, from Dallas. He was actually a referral from another law enforcement agency that got him in trouble. He posted video on his own Twitter account, and according to a grand jury subpoena, was tied to his personal cell phone number. That's how the FBI was able to connect him with being there at the Capitol. On top of that, they include in their statement of the facts information about things that he tweeted and made social media posts about following the incident, including tweeting at the Congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, to assassinate her. So the FBI does not take kindly at that, and obviously is taking all of these threats much more seriously now, Joe. So they've charged him in connection with that, as well as being at the Capitol. These arrests just continue to pour in.
Now, Ken, the Washington Post is reporting that federal law enforcement officials are considering whether to charge some of the rioters. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Joe. And I should say that NBC News has not confirmed this reporting, although we have no reason to dispute it. The Post is reporting on internal deliberations about there are around 800 or so people are believed to have entered the Capitol that day. And obviously, the federal government is trying to figure out who the ringleaders were and who conspired and who committed violence. But they're also debating what to do about those people that just walked in and did nothing else, committed no other crimes, and whether they should be charged to the full extent of the law. And there are two views about that. One is that, look, this was a desecration of a temple of democracy, the U.S. Capitol. A message needs to be sent that every single person involved in this insurrection should be prosecuted. But another view is that, look, if people went in unimpeded, if the Capitol Police weren't there, that might be a case that's difficult to win. And there are also concerns about clogging the federal court. And the use of federal resources. So that's the debate. It hasn't been resolved as far as we know. Congressional staffers that I've talked to who were there would be very disturbed if there was anybody who committed a crime that day who wasn't prosecuted, Joe.
Yeah, Ken, what has been some of the reaction to this report so far? What are you hearing?
I mean, from what I'm hearing from my sources, there's a consensus in Washington that this was a horrible thing that happened to our democracy and that it's an unusual circumstance. It's not a normal civil disturbance. And so the federal government really should do everything it can to prosecute anybody it can prove broke the law. And in fact, in response to that Post story, a Justice Department spokesman said that they intend to do just that. He didn't rule out, though, that there might be some people they just don't prosecute, Joe.
Tom, the inauguration has come and gone, but a contingent of National Guard troops will continue to protect the Capitol through the impeachment trial. That's according to Politico. Can you tell us about what that will look like and what the security concern might be?
Well, I think the ongoing security concern is that you have obviously something that's very much a political lightning rod for parts of the far right, for a lot of people, the impeachment of now former President Trump. And so I think when you look at what happened on January 6th, a complete failure from a security standpoint, both from a barricade and a hardening of security around the Capitol, as well as a issue of having the right men and women there to perform security duties, to stop people from coming in. It appears that the National Guard's role in this is going to continue going forward, Joe. It's not surprising at all, particularly in light of the ongoing hot rhetoric from certain corners of social media and the internet, the people that were responsible for what happened on January 6th. It's not surprising that they feel the need that there's a real security threat.
Yeah, and Ken, with the inauguration now behind us, what is the current threat landscape in D.C. and across the nation? What does that look like right now?
In terms of domestic extremists, Joe, the rhetoric is still hot. And on Friday, the Biden administration essentially announced that it was seeking to overhaul the federal government's response to domestic terrorism. President Biden asked the Director of National Intelligence to conduct a national threat assessment, and he announced that the National Security Council would create a new unit, essentially, to look at information sharing and threat picture and how the government approaches domestic terrorism, because what they've been doing so far has not necessarily been working, Joe.
All right, two of the best in the business. Tom and Ken, thank you both so much.
Sure thing.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.